You young blacks, you're too fucking stupid and uneducated to understand the history of South Africa.
This episode may upset you. This episode may annoy you. This episode may go as far as to irritate you. But what I'm hoping at the end of this episode, that we all come with a common understanding that we need to unite and we're not angry enough. I'm your boy Uncle P, and welcome to another episode of Uncle P's podcast. So guys, I was just sitting around. It's almost 2 a.m. in the morning. I went to bed at 4 p.m. I was tired. The kids went to their mom. It's daddy's week to do his thing. So I needed to rest. I needed to reset. And I just woke up and I was going through Facebook. And I came across Mr. Potato Head here. You guys remember our favorite patriot. So he had a video playing on Facebook, and the video had him in the beach and with this scenery, and he had the South African flag and the Pakistan flag. So he says GDP 400 billion, South African GDP, 60 million people, poverty 68%. Then he proceeds to say GDP 370 billion, 250 million people, poverty 25%. So the Pakistan poverty level is lower than South Africa. And then he says, xenophobe says we have limited resources. So according to him, we don't have limited resources. We have unlimited. Guys, you know, I'm beginning to think maybe we don't all understand English the same way. So a GDP of 400 billion. So we have 30 billion more than Pakistan with 60 million people. Their GDP of 370, catering to 250 million, their poverty level is lower. Ours is higher. Is he not understanding the reason for this is because all those motherfuckers ain't in their fucking countries. They are all in South Africa, taking what belongs to South Africans. That is the reason. Oh, guys, who are we talking to? Who are we arguing with? Who are we? I feel like we've reached that level where being insulted and being called a 30%er should no longer offend us. Because South Africa has 28 million grant recipients and only 7.8 million taxpayers. So 7.8 million taxpayers are catering to how many? 65 million minus 7.8? Because they only talk about 28 million grant recipients. In that 28 million, how many foreigners are in there? So, because they're not all South Africans. And we know majority are not even South Africans. Catered by 7.8 million. From a population of 65 million. So people don't look at numbers, they just make noise. But you know, this is not even the tip of the iceberg. This is not what's going to upset you. This is not what's going to annoy you. Or what I'm about to play next is what's really going to piss you off. Because this individual took it upon themselves to educate us on South Africa and South African history. You also saw a little clip in the beginning of the video. I'm sure that triggered you a little bit. Well, let's watch the rest of that video.
You young blacks, you're too fucking stupid and uneducated to understand the history of South Africa. And you're quick to point fingers at the Buddha. I listened to a guy last night, a black guy, and he says he cannot understand why black people did not build their own universities, their own schools, their own technikons. He cannot understand it. What he sees is blacks that invades previously white schools, white universities, and then they try to change that university to become a black university.
Okay, so first trigger. Is he lying? No, he's not lying. You see, I always say, just like the Bible, there is lies in truth. Not all truth carry complete truth. Sometimes in order for truth to be believed, some lies have to be told. Sometimes for some lies to be believed, some truth has to be told. Stay with me. Yes, in the 30 years that the ANC has had power, they've built no universities. We've all heard this. They've built no cities. They've built no towns, blah, blah, blah. All they've done is led their people to strike and fight for their rights in what the white man already built. So the white man built all this with whose resources, with whose hard work, with whose hands. So black South Africans were doing what when you guys were building these things? Where were they? On this video, Elon Musk's father speaks about how they fed black South Africans, how it was a small little group and they turned into a big group. Black South Africans are not considered anywhere by anyone. And all this because they chose less violence than many of our nations did to get rid of their oppressors. All this because they chose to live in unity with their oppressors. He says more. Let's listen.
And they drive Afrikaans out, but they don't invest in making sure that their language becomes an academic language. No. They murder Afrikaans and install English. What is that? That shows that they want to be part of the English thing.
So, black South Africans unalived the Afrikaners and chose English over Afrikaans. I don't know which history this bro is talking about, but let's continue to listen.
And it was the Boere that fought the British when the British wanted to steal South Africa. And the Boere paid a big price for it, to be free from the British. And what did you blacks do after 1994? You are giving the country back to the British and to the Americans. That's what you are doing. But you fucking stupid. The Boere paid with blood for the country. You have never fought that. The Zulus fought the British. And in the first encounter, the British fucked the Zulus up. And then Boere went to them and said, whoa, you're fighting this fight wrong. This is how you must fight the British. And the next fucking battle, the Zulus fucked the British up into the ground. They basically annihilated them. But then I have.
So the only way the Zulus were able to be successful is because the Boer gave them advice. Not that they fought with them, they gave them advice and showed them how to fight.
A conqueror writes history. They came, they conquered, and then wrote. You don't expect people to invade us to write the truth about us. They will always write negative things about us. And they have to do that because they have to justify their invasion in all the countries. We don't write our history. It has always been handed down to us orally by our elders. Of course, the white man came and he writes history. In fact, you don't know anything about any place until the white man gets there. Until the white man comes to any place, nothing lives. It's only when he comes and says, boof, I've discovered you, now you exist, which is ridiculous.
Let's keep listening.
You have to accept the fact that most of those blacks that are commenting are 30% passers. They don't have the intellect, they don't have the education to actually realize what the fuck is going on.
30% passers. It was bound to come out.
They listen to people like Malema, and that's what they base their life outlook on. And call me a racist for telling you that. I don't give a shit. You will listen to that idiot from political parties standing on stage, telling you all sorts of shit. In the meantime, you don't have water in your taps. You don't have a functioning sewer system. They don't care about that. All they care about is getting in those chairs down in Cape Town so they can...
Truth in lies. Cut it? Now you see, South Africa, this is one of the issues that I find on social media. And I'm finding with a lot of content creators and a lot of people that tell the history of South Africa. You see, he tells you a lot of lies and a lot of nonsense, and then comes up with the fact that you don't have water in your taps and this and that, which is the truth. So you completely hold on to that truth, but forgetting the lies that he has told before, which is triggering you. And this is what is happening today. This is the reason why you see there's a lot of division. You know, everyone is fighting against everyone. But the one thing that is common is South Africa. Guys, G20 just happened. South Africa is being praised. People are talking about how Cyril Ramaphosa put the USA in their place, guys. All that is just distractions. The reality is you are going to wake up tomorrow, and guess what? Your bank account still going to look the same. The rent to the dollar ratio is the same. Poverty is still going to be the highest. Apparently, we are the most dangerous country in the world. Anything negative you can think about is South Africa. But yet at the same time, South Africa, rugby, South Africa, football, South Africa, cricket, you name it, we are winning.
South Africa has achieved so much over the past month. In just the last few weeks, Stellenbosch University Choir won 3 gold medals at the 2025 Intercultural European Choir Games in Denmark. They beat 132 choirs from 33 countries. Radio School from Joburg won the 2025 World Schools Netball Cup in England. A South African, Jordan Pepper, won the Spa 24 Hours, which is a very prestigious, tough international motorsports competition. An under-16 water polo team from South Africa won the first ever BIWPA Summer Cup in Spain. In the Region 5 Youth Games hosted in Namibia, which is basically a miniature African Olympics, South Africa won 147 medals and came out on top of the overall table. We dominated in sports like table tennis, swimming, netball, and so much more. South Africa won 57 medals at the Dance World Cup, including 13 gold medals. We've also been winning many medals at the Life Saving Championships, and South Africa's Aldrich Potgieter won a PGA Tour title. The Springboks dominated Italy, and the Proteas are World Test champions. A South African woman won the world's toughest mudder for the 2nd year in a row, and the South African surfer won the Belito Pro competition. And we're even dominating academically because Team South Africa took gold at the Pan-African Mathematics Olympiad, beating over 20 countries. And remember, we achieved all of this just within the past month. I can't keep up with how South Africa continues to dominate in literally everything.
But the reality is this. No matter what anybody says, one thing is, like I always say, if you love the truth, this is the channel to subscribe to. The truth will remain the truth. In the midst of all the lies, even the smallest truth will be spoken about South Africa.
As an American visiting South Africa, I say this with all due respect to Africa and all disrespect to America. Everything here is so clean. All the bathrooms have been so clean. I am here literally at an African safari. The bathrooms here are cleaner than the airport bathrooms, cleaner than the Disney World bathrooms, cleaner than a lot of restaurant bathrooms. It's crazy. And it's not just here, it's everywhere.
It's not just here, it's everywhere. South Africa, the reality is everybody's envious of you. They just don't want to admit it. They talk about your poverty, they talk about your mannerism, they talk about the fact you are 30%. But in the end of the day, when you look at the reality, everyone is here. Here. Everyone wants to come here. Everybody wants to be a part of this boat, this shit, this sheep. South Africa. South Africans, be proud of yourself, man. Let nobody fool you. Let nobody lie to you. What your guys are achieving and what your guys are doing is amazing. And this fight for your land cannot stop. There is no way that you are being fought the way you are being fought. You are being misled the way you are being misled. You are being misguided the way you are being misguided. You are being led to be divided the way you are being divided. If you are not the gem of this planet. I'm your boy Uncle P. Like I always say, if you like the truth, this is the channel to subscribe to. I shall see you guys on the next one. Cheers.
There's always that one person who just ruins it all. This is just disappointing. The truth is, you don't end gender-based violence by becoming the very same thing you claim to be fighting against. If your solution to ending male violence is a blanket hatred for every man alive, then that's not activism. You're not an activist. That's just trauma dressed up as politics. Because here's the reality, right? The very same men you say must die when you say all men must die are the very same men who protect you when something goes wrong, when shit hits the fan, are the very same men who stand in solidarity with you, who march with you, who are in the fight against GBV, who raise our daughters. And so this is the problem when people turn activism into an aesthetic. They prioritize shock value over real solutions. You know what I mean? I always found it funny that a lot of these women who claim to hate men, a lot of these women who say things like all men should die, are the very same women who rely on men's protection. There'll be videos of women being violated, videos of women being assaulted, and the first question they'll ask is, why didn't a man do anything about it? Why did all the men in the room stand there and not do anything? Which I agree with them with, but you know what the problem is? These are the type of women who will never ask, why didn't any woman in the room do anything about it? What about them, when they could have stepped in to help too? These are the women who claim to hate men so much they hate every single man walking on planet Earth. They claim men should die, but when shit hits the fan, who's the first person they expect to come to their protection? This is disappointing. Honestly, I had to make a video on this. This is really disappointing. You just killed it. Men took to the streets. It was eye-watering to see how many men showed up for our women. It was eye-watering to see how many men came to stand in solidarity with our women in the march. For us to wake up the next day and see things like this on social media,